No cameraman again. What a pain in the ass. Behind me, National Lampoon's Vacation. Great movie. The scene I'm watching right now is when Eddie and Catherine, the Griswold's cousin, basically asks for money, and they hook him up. But watching this movie, it reminds me of marriage, relationships. I know that's going to sound odd coming from a comedy like this, but really, you have to admire women who are willing to put up with guys' shit the way that, well, both wives in that scene put up with their husband's bullshit. She completely puts up with Eddie's shortcomings and his failures, and meantime Clark Griswold's wife, well, she's putting up with all his idiocy throughout the entire movie, his whole planning the trip, rocking and rolling everything. I guess that's what it breaks down to. In a relationship, in a marriage, everything's a partnership. It should be a 50-50. You give, you take. It's compromise, and that's what makes it work. A lot of people fuck up their relationships, fuck up their marriage because there's no compromise to it. One party's either carrying the other party or what have you. And granted, now, like I said, partnership, one hand has to wash the other. One person has to carry it sometimes. The other person will carry it others. That's just the give and take and ebb and flow of it. I have a lot of friends who have gotten married and who are actually making it work. Some of my best friends are making it work. I'm going to a wedding that I completely approve of very soon because the two people in the relationship absolutely make it work. A friend of mine got married not too long ago, and you know, it was the perfect girl for him. You know, it basically, she complements everything he does, and I think that is how you have to be. I think it can't just be a one-sided fight. You can't have one person completely in love with the other person not. You can't have one person who works constantly and breaks their ass and everything else. And a lot of the relationships I've seen fail, that's what does it, is jealousy, is deceit. With me, I think I'll never get married. I think I'll never get married for a couple good reasons. One, I'll never find the right person to compliment me, or someone who can keep up, and the people that I have found that can keep up are nuts. But then again, I guess that means I'm nuts, so yeah, I guess that is my compliment. It's going to be interesting to see, though, as time runs on, who's going to be left standing, and who's going to be left in my position where I'm single, and I expect to be single for the rest of my life. Unless, of course, some kind of accident happens, because that's how it always happens, is quite by accident. You know, you go looking for it, you never really find it. Even my best friend, he's met the perfect girl, he's about to get married. Well, I wouldn't say he's about to get married, but I can see him getting married to the person he's with. And honestly, I wish him the best of luck, and I'm happy for him, and I'm excited for him and everything else. You know, there is a sacred bond there. But I guess the whole point to this rant and the whole thing I have to get off my chest is there's a lot of people who don't appreciate that significant other, that aren't happy with who they married, or it isn't a partnership. You can change that. It's all about compromise. It's all about sitting down and finding out what the other person exactly wants. Now granted, if they hate your guts, well, I guess there's no working around that, but before you cheat, before you pull some shit where you know it's going to end a relationship, before you lose that person that meant that much, there had to be some point in time in that relationship where you knew exactly what each other meant to one another, where you looked at her and she was the greatest thing on earth, and she looked at you and you were the greatest thing on earth. If you can remember that time, if you could capture that in a bottle or in a picture or whatever and just bring it up and remember who those people were before things progress to a point where everything's falling apart around you, you got a shot at fixing things and changing things. Every time I've compromised myself to a point where I probably shouldn't have compromised myself. and shit still didn't work out. Simply because the other person was unwilling to try or didn't want it as bad. I believe that not everybody is liars, not everybody is a cheat, not everybody's out on for themselves or out on their own. I've had some really good partnerships, really good relationships that probably could have grown into marriage. But at certain points, either I didn't work out as a person, they didn't work out as a person, or we had different ideals and split and went our separate ways. Everybody has breakups. It is what it is. But when you come to that point in your relationship where you're going to get married, where you do get married, don't just do it as a flash in the pan. Do it as a partnership. Make the shit work. Nowadays, I've got more friends married than I do divorced, and I'm actually very happy about that. My friends were intelligent in their choices. Eventually, I guess it's going to happen to everybody around me, and I'll be left in this room alone. But I'm alright with that, because I won't be in this room forever. I'll be in a different room somewhere, but I'll be alright. I don't know. I mean, after all, if I wasn't in this room alone, then how could I say I'm just a guy in a room? And these are just my thoughts.